What is up, bros? We Josh here. In today's video, we're diving into the Tier 10 French battleship, the Bourgogne. Now, this ship is still currently work in progress, so stats are subject to change and could potentially change before this ship finally goes live. Now, this is the second video I'll be doing on the Bourgogne, and in the first one, you knew how much, if you watched it, you knew how much I love this ship. Its flexibility with its speed, being a French battleship, and its speed boost, its guns being still pretty dang solid, its ability to just flex around the map, and then having that monster reload booster. I love this ship. I love playing it, and then but I also did think it was a little overpowered. So we have seen the new version, and the biggest change that has come to this ship is on its actual reload booster. So this is one of the things I was kind of nervous about with this ship. It seems like a hard thing to really balance overall, and we've seen it on cruisers and we've seen it on destroyers now with the reload booster consumable. And with battleships, I think they have to be really careful with how they do it. So the biggest thing changed with the reload booster is, one, cutting down the action time from 30 seconds to 20 seconds, which means instead of getting 3 salvos, you're going to basically be getting 1.5. Or you basically, like, it's around 2 and some change with the normal reload. But with this, you're basically getting 1.5 salvos with that, so it's not quite as deadly compared to what it once was. When we originally talked about it, I talked about maybe changing up just the number of cooldowns getting turned down, so the amount of actual consumables getting from like maybe a 1 normal stack to a 2-3, but overall they just changed the action time, so it doesn't have that quite of a game-changing impact as you would normally see. Still absolutely slays and still can be a massive change to your play, but I feel like with this version of this consumable, it's going to change the overall play style of the ship. Still, the ship will be really good, but I think the overall play style of the ship will not be that popular when it comes to a lot of people of how the ship will be played. It's going to be a very fun ship to play still, but we'll dive into that when we check out some game footage. One major thing that I have noticed, though, when I was checking out this ship, and this was brought up by one of my moderators, was a small little change to its camo. So before we dive into it, as you see, I don't have a camo on right now. If we click the Jean Bart, which is still another work in progress ship, whenever we get a ship to test out, we get the camo. So whenever you get a permanent ship or a premium ship to check out, especially in the work in progress phase, or just when you buy one in general, you get the permanent camo. Each ship comes with a permanent camo because it's a premium ship. Each premium ship comes with a permanent camo, not every ship. Other ones have ones you can buy, but whenever there's a premium ship, it always has a permanent camo you can use. You can always take it off and put something else on. Whenever we get like a tech tree camo or tech tree ship, you know, outside of this not being a good example because I bought the premium camo, let's go to the Republic instead. Well, the Republic has that, but this is a good one. So it shows that you can buy a permanent camo. So normal tech tree ships don't have a permanent, but if they have the ability, we can do that. So one thing, why you bring this up? Why are you saying permanent camo so much? Because in the past, the Bourgogne has had one. Now, it doesn't. Now, could this be that Wargaming is potentially changing up what the Bourgogne actually is? Is this just a bug that Wargaming has not noticed? I have never seen this before, but as I said before, whenever we get a premium ship to check out, it comes with the camo, or it shows the ability to buy the camo. In the past, the Bourgogne has had a permanent camo when we tested it before. You can check it out in the last video. It's no longer there. And as I said, whenever we get a ship and it doesn't have the permanent camo, that means it's a tech tree ship. So, tinfoil hats, will the Bourgogne become a tech tree ship? Will we see a French battleship split when it comes to that? Will the Republic get switched out for the Bourgogne? I have no idea. This is something that has come up, and Wargaming hasn't posted anything on the dev blog about this. Wargaming hasn't said anything about this, and this raised the question for me. I have no idea what this is going to be. It could easily just be a bug that they sent us these ships and didn't click a box, so it came with it. That could easily be that. Who knows? But without them saying anything, it's interesting. So will we see the Bourgogne being a tech tree ship? Who knows? Will we see it being a premium ship? Who knows? But again, just comparing it, the Jean Bart, still known as being a premium ship, has the camo, and now the Bourgogne no longer doesn't. It's just something I kind of wanted to bring up. This could be a kind of almost like a game changer on this ship of like how it's going to be available. Wargaming maybe getting away from selling tier 10 premiums in a way, or however they're done, even though Stalingrad and Salem, blah blah blah. But it'll be interesting to see what they do. But anyways, I don't want to go off on this tangent too much. I don't want this video to be too long, but let's dive into some gameplay, talk about the Bourgogne and what I think will end up being this ship, and if you guys think it's a good thing or a bad thing for this game and this ship in general. So here we are in game with the Bourgogne, and I just have to say this ship is still so much fun to play, and the reason being is I love the French style battleship play where it kind of has to a point a best of both worlds, where you have the flexibility of being the ship, you have the flexibility of getting into a position where you can flank an entire team and really give them a lot of grief and a lot of damage, especially if you can get into a situation where you can get an entire enemy team on their broadside. But one of the things too I like is this is a really like a second half ship, and what I mean by that is you really kind of play, I wouldn't say quite a sniping game, but you tend to play a bit of a passive annoying game. If you ever played the French cruisers, you definitely know what I'm talking about as well, with getting into a bit of a spot where you kind of make the team deal with you or else they're going to get punished. And then you really kind of cinch the noose later and later into the game, which is what the French battleships can do, because you will kind of use your health pool and then second half really kind of get into the game, because these aren't really the tankiest ships, they really aren't, but on top of that you have the ability to use your secondaries to really put a lot of damage in on a lot of the ships. Now you'll see right here, and this was something that I really did have, I wouldn't quite say a negative feedback to the ship, but what you're going to kind of see right here is the effect of pretty much you're going to get one extra salvo, 1.5 extra salvos. Still, you can kind of see right now as we popped it as soon as it was done, and we're going to kind of cut that salvo in half, so you're going to get 1.5 salvos. But it's definitely nice, especially when you see a destroyer like this pop up, like especially an Asashio or even a Kabab, whatever, or a cruiser. You're still going to be able to pump out that damage and get it. It's not going to be as brutal to see as you could in the past, where you're basically getting like 3 salvos. With that extra 10 seconds, you would get the entire extra salvo and then even a little bit more. So 3 battleship salvos in 30 seconds is pretty nuts. The DPM output was just too crazy, and then having 5 charges of that, it was just too strong. It really, really was. The ship itself is pretty much an Alsace. You know, before somebody in the comments kind of yells at me for that, they always do when I make the comparison. Obviously, it's a very broad comparison, but pretty much what it is, it's an Alsace. It's a tier 9 battleship playing against tier 10s, which the Alsace will normally do, but you have this massive impact of the game being, or having this this cooldown and this consumable, which is unique to this ship and the Jean Bart for battleships. No other ship has that. Just having that ability to pump out that damage is something you just don't really see with other battleships. So having that cooldown and having that ability to just absolutely wreck is amazing. And on top of that, because I'm running the speed boost module, the kind of unique one, having 4 minutes of speed boost of 30 plus knots on a battleship just gives you so much flexibility, which I really, really do enjoy. But this ship really isn't known for tanking, and you'll kind of see me take a decent little hit right here. And but what you'll kind of see, and I haven't really, oh, I didn't, this was a different salvo then. One thing I did kind of notice, and I'm not really going to show it off that well in this game, was what I kind of talked about before when we were in port, is how I imagine this ship is going to be played now. As you can see right there, a nice little salvo. He caught me for almost 20k. So, you know, normally you're going to take that salvo anyways, but you know, if you're a broadside battleship, it's okay, because you can disengage. That's one thing I do love about the ship, is your ability to just go fast. I just want to go fast, and with that you can really kind of disengage and get into a better spot. Again, whenever there's a DD up, that's always a good salvo too right there. Nice 7k of just taking advantage. This is going to be the perfect ship for someone who likes, or somebody that has really, really good map awareness. Good map awareness is going to reward you so much in the ship, because as soon as you see something, pop that reload consumable, you know, pop it on a destroyer, pop it on a cruiser, you can really, if you have a good awareness, really take advantage of that and use that reload consumable to really kind of help your team flip the game. I always called it like, it's a game, we really haven't seen kind of a game-changing consumable like this. Obviously the destroyers have them with a bit of a torp, salvo, but this is one you can almost control a little bit more. Torps, I always consider Torps a bit more of an RNG because it's you got to get a little bit more lucky when it comes to battleship salvos. I feel like you can kind of control where your damage goes a bit more than with the Torp, with like a Torp salvo. Obviously, the Torp salvos can be absolutely gnarly if something is into a nice little area, but I feel like a battleship with its ability to just pump out good damage, hitting a destroyer, taking out a cruiser, or something like that, you know, within the same salvo, or finishing off 2 low ships within that that 20-second window is also fantastic, which can completely flip the game. But again, the flexibility of speed and the flexibility of just maneuverability, decent stealth, good guns overall. Dispersion a little. Now that's a perfect example of the lower caliber shells basically just bouncing everything. But as we're seeing right here, I'm switching to HE, and that's one thing I brought up when I was in port. Is I think this ship will sadly become an HE slinger, and what I mean by that is it's just going to be easier, especially with the announcement of the battleship AP versus destroyers, which I'll make an entire video on later. I have a feeling that this ship will become an HE flinger. It's not going to be anything like the Conqueror or something like that, but the reason being is I feel like it's just going to be so easy to continue to pump out damage with HE, and then if you see something giving you a broadside, then you use the reload consumable and then do that. One thing you could also do is wait for somebody to pop a repair, and then as you see right here, Neptune giving us a broadside, so we switch to it, and then we're going to have a salvo on this guy. I feel like this is going to be the playstyle with the consumable being a shorter duration of, okay, I'm shooting HE, okay, now it's giving me a broadside, boom, I have an extremely low reload time, and we can then counter, then we can get, then, you know, take advantage of that. I feel like this, and that's my worry on this ship. I don't really like promoting HE when it comes to a battleship, but it's just so brain dead, basically, of exactly what's going on with this kind of ship. It just makes sense, you know, with the smaller caliber, especially going against something that's bow in. Sticking to HE is just, it almost seems like an easy mode, but you know, because if you can't, especially if you get into a situation where you can't get broadsides, switching to sticking to HE, you can just continue to get damage. I mean, we've all done that. So kind of good and bad about this ship. I really do enjoy this ship. I think it's very fun. I kind of still don't use HE that much, but when I was running tests with HE, you just still slay with this thing. And if you do get that lucky battleship that repairs one fire, again, broadsides, you're still going to absolutely punish, but you can just be so consistent with HE damage on this ship. So I feel like that's kind of how this ship is going to end up being played, is people are going to use the HE primarily, and then if something gives you a broadside, boom, you have 5 chances. If you run Superintendent and the premium consumable, you have 5 chances to potentially obliterate them with AP. So again, you know, I still basically stick with AP only on this. Obviously, I've only shot a couple salvos of HE, and you'll see me basically stick exclusively with this, but it's going to be a ship that's going to be just very easy to just kind of take advantage of situations and use the, you know, the #1 ammo that we hate to see battleships fire. But with that consumable, with that ability to flex and to get in a situation where you can really make it work, especially if you get onto a flank where you are getting chased down, it's almost like a no-brainer, which is a bad thing to say. But this is what I'm talking about right here too, is obviously this has kind of been a complete one-sided fest right here. We've hit good shots, 2 kills, now 3 kills, taking down low ships, so this is going to be a fantastic thing at doing. And you're going to see me do some insane dodging right here with a bunch of other stuff. But it's one, I love this ship. I really, really do. But I feel like with this new consumable duration, sticking with AP and getting into a spot where you can kind of do it, and then forcing late game. This is what I'm talking about. This late game push, using those secondaries and just smashing, it's fantastic. But yeah, I don't know if I like that this is kind of promoting this, and I hope like a lot of people don't really play like that, because the AP is still fantastic. And here we're gonna see our entire team of destroyers try to kill me right now. So we're slowing down. I think everything was launching torps at me right here, and then honestly continues to launch torps at me even after the fact. So bit of a feels bad, man. But 160k damage. We're gonna get some more here using those secondaries late game. That's what I'm talking about. This is an awesome second, which I think a lot of the French ships are too. Just second half teams. Nice little salvo right there. Little 10k, 170k. We're basically gonna finish it out. There's no way I can even avoided this one, Yuguma. What are you doing, Goober? But luckily no fire or no flood right there, so we're gonna be all right, and that'll basically finish out the game. And then we will just count it out. 3 caps, no big deal, with just a Jutland to deal with, one of the friends of the stream, Dolphin Princess. But anyways, tier 10 Bourgogne, still amazing, still love the ship, find it so much fun to play. But with the change to the reload to only 20 seconds, I'm worried that it's going to turn into an HE flinger. I assume we're going to see something kind of pretty close to this finalized. And interesting. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of the camo. Will this go to tech tree? Would you guys be surprised with the tech tree? Or do you think it was just a problem? Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the camo situation. But anyways, guys, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.